Hey there, everyone, and welcome to a new playlist with me, your host, Tim. A playthrough. Let's play. There we go. And today, we will begin playing Eador Genesis with the New Horizons mod together. There will be some prep here that you can skip by going down to the comments section down below, where I will have a pinned comment from me, allowing you to jump ahead where we don't talk about the game for a few minutes, maybe like 4 or 5 minutes before we get started. There will eventually be a link down there letting you jump past the tutorial, in case you don't want to watch that either. But know that the tutorial is going to be like 2 or 3 videos long, like 2 to 3 hours probably at least. Alright, well, let's begin covering the game. Eador Genesis is a turn-based strategy game of immense length and significant depth, more so with the New Horizons mod that I will be playing the game with. We will play the role of a certain type of character. We'll say I don't want to ruin the big gotcha that happens early on in the game. And our objective is to do something. I don't know. I have not actually ever beaten the game yet. In fact, I usually get to a certain point in the game, usually after like about 100 hours or so, and then I fail. And because the game's a roguelike, that's it. The campaign's over, and I've lost. That's it. The game itself will play a bit like Matches of Magic. There's going to be a overworld map to manage. There's combat maps where our armies will fight other armies. There is a bit more to it than just that, though. There's a bit of difference between your main castle and the other towns in the game, the way that works. But we'll see all of it when we get into the game. Graphically, know that the game is going to look a little old. It was made in 2012. To my knowledge, it was made by one person or a team, maybe, of people. A very small team, if that. So more power to them. It's also a Russian game. I love Russian games. They're unbelievably hard, and they're misery simulators. I love them. It's going to be great. That said, though, the game looks, I think the game looks great. All the units on screen will have no problems recognizing what they are. They'll be unique and so on and so forth. I mentioned New Horizons. It is a mod for the game itself. I'll try to put a link into the game description for the version of the game that I am currently playing, which is, I think it's 1.90 something, if I recall correctly. The mod itself, it would... No, we simply cannot cover the entire length of the mod. That would take 3 to 6 hours or more to cover every single difference that the mod does to the game. Let's just say that it provides a rebalancing of the way the game worked for some of the basic spells and or units. It adds a ton of new events in the game, lots of new units as well, tons of new spells, lots of items, more. It gives you a lot more of what Eador was if you're familiar with Eador Genesis itself. As for why I want to record it, or why I'm recording it now, I find myself going to this game and playing it all the time. In fact, it's consuming time that I should be spent playing other games, so I figured if I'm just going to play this game, we're going to record it. And besides, maybe you guys can help me in this game and give me some tips, because I could certainly probably use a few. There's 1 or 2 other things I wanted to cover, but I can't remember what I wanted to say. So I'm gonna go and ignore that, and I'm gonna go and check on my voice volume really quick. And when I come back, we should be good to start a game. So give me a few seconds, everybody. All right, everyone. Sounds like my voice is coming out fantastic. I remember what I want to talk about as well. Someone over there, one of the people who worked on this mod, has, or many people who worked on the mod, have put a huge amount of effort into the translation of this game. All the units that we encounter have descriptions detailing the race and how they work and what this thing is good at and stuff like that. And if you know me, you know that I love reading everything. So, in a salute to the person who did the translation, or the people, we will read everything that this game throws at us, at least for the initial time we see it. So for example, we hire a new unit. It's got like 3 paragraphs of information about that unit. We're gonna read it. I know this might be annoying to you. I'm so sorry if it is, but I want to immerse myself in this world, and I also love the writing that they've done for this game. There's also going to be dialogue at certain points in the game between our character and other people. I will do voices. I'm not good at voices. I'm going to do them anyway. Alright, I think we're ready to go. Oh, one more thing. The campaign is long. Like we're talking 1,000 hours long. from what I can gather, if we actually ever make it to the end of the game. We will do our best to finish this, but this might be a playlist that continues for years. So, there is a gentleman I'm subscribed to who has beaten Eador, I think he beat Eador, Masters of the Broken World. It's got like 500 videos in it. This is probably going to be just about as long, if we can even beat the game. We might end up in a situation, everyone, where we lose. In which case, well, we made the best attempt on screen that we could. Alright. Let's go ahead and start us up a new campaign. Yep. There's no history. The book of Eador's history is empty. Complete the campaign to write your name in it. I will for sure. Alright. Let's start. You were born to a poor peasant family in the tiny village of Oldfields. As a child, you were very cautious and inquisitive. Everything was fascinating. People, plants, animals, the world around you was an endless source of knowledge and adventures. Years went by, and the older you grew, the better you realized you weren't destined for a simple peasant's life. You mastered your father's trade well, but deep in your heart, you've always dreamed to become a wise wizard. And one day, your dream finally came true. An elder calling himself Teacher Danner came to your village. The old man said that he'd been roaming the world searching for a youth to whom he could pass all his great knowledge. And you were happy beyond belief when Danner chose you. The elder paid your parents more gold than they'd seen in their lives. You bade farewell to your family and fellow villagers and followed Danner towards your destiny. Looking at you slyly, Danner said, "Well, apprentice, it's time to take your first journey. We're going to the town of Great Tannerus, where you can buy everything we will need for your training. Would you like to ask me anything?" "Why did you choose me?" Daniel narrowed his eyes slyly. "Let's just say I had a sign from above. I didn't choose you. I searched and searched, and finally I found you. No one else can be my apprentice." "But what makes me so special?" "There's a great potential within you. You're much more powerful than you've ever imagined. I'll teach you how to use that power. But for now, your foremost task is to study this world, to learn its laws and traditions. This will help you in the future." "Study the world? I've been doing that since childhood." "That's commendable, but your earlier studies didn't go further than your village and its surroundings. Now it's time to get to know the rest of this world. Alright, let's go. Alright everyone, welcome to the game! Select your hero by left-clicking on him. To hide this hint, just click on it. Alright everyone, this is our hero here. This is the icon. Let's see this guy right here with the staff and he's pulling magic power out of it. That's us! Now, to order your hero to move, right-click on the neighboring province where the town is located. Alright, we'll go ahead and read some of these messages. Some of them I might skip though. Let's cover some of what we see here. Each of these is a different province. Right now, we own this. Well, we don't own any province at the moment, I suppose we should say. Later on in the game, we'll cover that. We can see that this area is owned by humans. It's quiet, so they're content right now. And we can see that it's a hamlet, so it's kind of tiny. The green bar represents how much population is in this particular province. We'll go over all this stuff later. Here's the name. It's a type of plains. We'll cover that later. It's a free settlement, so this indicates who owns it, I think, as well. Here's us! Look at us. This is amazing. We can click on us. This is an image of us. This is our morale. This is our hit points. If our hit points reach 0, we are dead. Our morale reaches 0, we lose control of our character, and they flee off the battlefield or panic. We do less damage. Well, we'll cover damage and what have you a little later. Wizards possess the greatest amount of spells. Their skills are focused on enhancing the power of their incantations. They can use wands, but no armor, shields, or melee weapons. We have 1 point in spell power. We'll begin covering all of this a little later. We'll cover all of this later. Just know all of this is very important. The game will go over some of this as we continue our adventures anyway. Alright, so first we have to move. So we're going to right-click on this province here. Excellent! As you can see, a task has appeared in the Hero Information window. You can abandon it if necessary by clicking on the Cancel Orders button. Now, to make your hero perform the task, click on the End Turn. On your turn, you can basically do one thing with all of your heroes. You can enter a location to explore it, or move to a different spot in order to go there, as it were. We'll cover movement later. There's a whole lot to cover in this game. Right now, we're going to come down here in the lower right-hand corner and click End Turn. You have not built anything in some provinces. Are you sure you want to end this turn? I have these reminders turned on to remind me to do things. We're just going to click on yes, I'm saving for later. We don't own any buildings at the moment. All right, here we are. Since you've chosen the art of the wizard, you need to learn several spells first. Magic is a powerful weapon when used wisely. A capable conjurer can take on a whole army by himself. Go to the town library. You can learn several of the simplest spells there. Someday, you will master much more powerful spells, I'm sure. But for now, the spells they have at the local library should suffice. To enter the library, select a hero and click on the Learn Spells button. We'll click on our hero right here, and this icon is available to us. If we're at a location with our hero that we can pick up spells or learn them, we can click on this button, and it will bring us to this. You are in the library now. On the bottom left, you can see the spells your hero has already learned. On the right, the spells available for learning. To learn a spell, okay, so we'll have to click on that. All right, so to learn a spell, we take a spell from any of the ones which are available to us. It's just these three, and we bring it over. We click it once, and we drag it into one of our slots. Great, you've learned your first spell. Learning spells doesn't require any resources, so you can experiment freely. This is kind of true. It's mostly true. We'll cover what makes it different in a bit. So you can adjusting your set of spells to your liking. To get rid of a spell you don't need, left-click on the spell to select it, then click on the delete button. Fill up all the empty slots in your hero's spellbook. Keep in mind that a hero can only use each of the spells he has memorized once per battle. It is prudent to learn several instances of the most powerful, useful enhancements. After you've memorized your magic, leave the library. Okay, so first off, let's cover a little bit of how this works. If you click on a spell, you're like, oops, I didn't want that one. Just click on delete. You can fill up your bar here with all the spells. Can we shift-click to immediately put it in? No, we cannot. Can we alt-click to immediately put it in? No, we cannot. All right. So, for example, we can go ahead and do this, and we're like, oh, we don't want all these. We can go ahead and just click on this and say, no, we don't want them, and delete them. So, we have Triple Blade, Cure Wounds, and Raise Skeleton available. This is, it's going to be so difficult to explain all this. Let's skip. Let's just go through this. We'll let the game guide me to what I should be talking about. So right now we're equipping spells. We're going to want probably, let's take 3 Triple Blades, and we'll grab a Raise Skeleton. Okay, that's good for a start. Well, Lotaeri, have you learned the secrets of the local magic? Great! There is just a chance to try out your new spells in action. Mind you, spellcasting use up magic gems. Take these 50 gems. They should last you through a few brawls. Well, where was I? Oh, yes! The ancient ruins nearby are infested by goblins. Those green-skinned vermin are a constant threat to the locals, stealing stuff all the time. Sometimes murdering, too. A worthy trial for you, my apprentice. Go and put down the pests. I just hope these goblins don't finish me off. There must be a whole bunch of them. Don't worry. Trust me, you're strong enough to tackle a gang of goblins. When they escort shamans or sorcerers, they should not be underestimated, but I didn't sense any spellcaster. Alright, teacher. To enter the ancient ruins or any other location in the province, click on the Enter Building button. First, before we do that, we should cover the spells we picked up. So, we picked up Triple Blade. It's a Circle 1 spell. We'll cover circles in a little bit. It's from the Metamorphosis skill. It inflicts 9 points of physical damage to a target. So magic immunity doesn't work on it. We'll cover that later. And the damage increases slightly with the caster's spell power. We have 1 point of spell power at the moment. It's level 1. So this might do 10 damage, or it might not. I'm not quite sure how 1 spell power affects Triple Blade. It will cost us 4 crystals and 1 stamina to cast it. Crystals are acquired every round, or at the end of every round, based on what you earned them from. Your provinces will generate gems, maybe structures you have built will generate gems, maybe you have equipment that generates gems. They will increase your current amount every single turn. We have 50. You can go negative as well, like you can begin losing gems. If you have no gems, you cannot cast any magic. So keep that in mind. If you want to play a wizard, you need lots of magic coming in as part of your income. We took Raise Skeleton. Creates a skeleton from the remains of a fallen. The skeleton's attributes depend on this caster's summoning and necromancy skills. It'll be rather weak because we have no necromancy, but it should be useful to us to help us deal with a few skeletons. We did not take any Cure Wounds. Cure Wounds heals a target for 8 hit points. Healing effect increases with the caster's spell power. Has no effect on undead, mechanical units, or elementals. Costs only 2 crystals and 1 stamina for that. Alright, let's go in and fight these creatures. Excellent. Now select the goblin-infested ancient ruins from the list on your screen. We only have one location we can go to these ancient ruins. We'll click on it. As you see, your hero has a new task. Enter ancient ruins. Alright, so this is his quest. Let's go ahead and hit end turn and have him do it. If we didn't want him to do it, we could simply hit this X. And now he's not doing anything. We could hit end turn and just pass the turn, but there's no reason to do that. In fact, you very rarely, if ever, want to do nothing. Let's go ahead and fight these goblins. Hopefully, we can win. The hero Lotaeri has approached the deserted ruins of a city of the ancients. Often, an ancient artifact or some treasures hidden by the current occupants of the ruins can be found in such places. Scouting has revealed that the ancient ruins are not as deserted as they may have appeared at first sight. There are 3 enemies. Goblins. Okay, Lotaeri is pretty confident in his ability to defeat them. We will eradicate them, he is saying. Look at that heroic guy. Doesn't look like he's young. Anyway, yes. So he's pretty confident in his ability to destroy these things. Let's go ahead and... Oh, we can click on this as well. Just in case we wanted to check out our character or do any last-minute prep. We are all set. Let's attack. This is the combat window. The first stage of combat is troop deployment. The 2 outer rows of the tiles are available for initial deployment. Okay, let's do this. We can just click, I can click on this really quick. All right, so we have a combat grid. Yep, combat takes place on this grid. We are allowed to deploy our starting units, of which we only have 1 currently, anywhere within the first 2 hexes on the left-hand side because we're the attacker. If we were the defender, we would be on this side instead. Whoever has the higher initiative places all their units first. The other player then gets to see where the enemy placed those units and place theirs second. The game hasn't covered it yet, but it's very important to pay attention to the types of tiles which we have around us. I see some swamps, I see forests, we have a hill here as well. We'll place our hero on the hill to start. Alright, let's go ahead and hit the start battle. So the combat begins! The main goal of any battle is to crush your enemies and see them driven before you. During your turn, you can give different orders to your units. The most basic ones are to move and to attack. The number of movement points a unit has determines how far it can go in a given turn. Crossing through terrain uses more movement points than crossing through plains. Right now the hero is selected. To order him to move, left-click on a tile you want him to go. The cursor will inform you whether the unit has enough speed to reach the tile you have selected. If the tile is occupied by an enemy unit, and your unit can move next to it, you can order you to attack the enemy. Okay, so let's click on this stuff. All right, so first, let's adjust this a little bit. We're going to go ahead and put on the info panels. We're not going to turn on automatic turn transfer, and we'll leave the unit speed very slow to show you it at first, and then we'll up it a little bit later. So we now have these panels. Let's cover some very important things that the game probably won't cover until a significant amount of time later, but it's important for us. Here's our hero. You can see the blue, the red, and the yellow icons here. They're represented by these bars under our character. Red is hit points, yellow is stamina, blue is morale. When your hit points get reduced to half, you begin having combat penalties. The amount of damage you can block begins to drop. The amount of damage you do begins to deteriorate. When your stamina gets low, your character will move more slowly. You'll have less movement points. You will do less damage. You will block less damage as well. If your character is exhausted, you cannot defend yourself, and you will sit there as other enemies pummel on you. If your morale is 0, you might flee off the screen. You will also do less damage the less morale you have. So you want to track these things and make sure you keep them all at least half or above if possible. We are starting on a hill. Hills increase our defense by 1 point to my knowledge if we're on a hill and an enemy is not. It costs more movement points to enter into a hill. If we wanted to move here, we could simply left click and we move 1 space. We are a mage though, we generally want to stay away from our enemies, so we're going to stay over here. Do you see this green number as well? 2? That's the number of movement points we have. You can see it over here as well. We have a 2 boot, 13 morale, 14 stamina, 28 hit points, etc., etc. We'll cover our attack and counterattack values and all of this in a little bit. Right now, let's just deal with these goblins. Actually, let's read about goblins. We haven't seen these guys yet. Goblin warriors aren't overly blessed with strength or stamina, and countless stories have been told about their cowardice. However, these small green-skinned warriors should not be underestimated. They can cause the enemy much trouble with their natural agility and nimbleness. Hitting a dapper goblin with an arrow or a crossbow bolt is no easy task. And if the goblin is skilled enough, he even knows how to dodge enemy counterattacks. Goblins feel right at home in the marshes. They make good use of this advantage when a battle takes place in the swamp. In addition, every goblin has intimate knowledge of traps, thus one should watch his step when battling goblins. This goblin has swamp knowledge. Swamp knowledge 2 will give it 1 more point of defense and resistance if it is sitting in a swamp, and it can enter a swamp by spending only 1 movement points instead of spending 4, I think is what it is normally. It has Panic. This unit can, at the cost of extra stamina, retreat faster towards its edge of the battlefield and desert. When in effect, the unit's morale decreases by 1. It can also set a trap. The unit can cast a set snare spell, which places a snare in an adjacent tile. It consumes 1 ammo, and it has 1 ammo on it. These guys do 6 damage and have 5 counterattack. Just know that if all 3 of these guys if I took only Cure Wounds as my only ability, we would be decimated by these goblins. So it helps to understand a little bit that you shouldn't just take 6 Cure Wound spells. Alright. So, we're going to cast a spell. We bring this up and we can see all the spells that we selected earlier. We'll select a triple blade. Spells have, or at least this spell, has an infinite range. We can hit whoever we want with this triple blade spell. We're going to pummel a goblin. Let's go ahead and pummel this one. Dead. Instantly killed. Just like that. Now the goblin has left a corpse. That's important because some spells require a corpse in order to, create something. In our case, we'll create a skeleton from it. Let's end our turn. Oh, there is no undo, by the way. In combat, once you do something, it's done. If you misclick, tough. You're dealing with it. Let's go ahead and end this turn. Okay. The goblins were not able to reach me. They only had their 2 movement. Next, we're going to up the movement speed a bit. I think we'll up it to at least 4 at this point. And let's go again. Let's go ahead and cast ourselves a skeleton. That consumes the corpse. It is now permanently gone. Undead do not leave corpses. If an undead is destroyed, its corpse, to my knowledge, is forever gone. This is our first skeleton. Let's read about it. Animated skeletons are a mysterious phenomenon. How in the world can bones move without flesh? However, tomb raiders have often encountered wandering skeletons inside abandoned graveyards and ancient burial chambers. Only recently did necromancers discover the secret spell that breathes a kind of surrogate life into the dead bones. Since then, animated skeletons have become a real plague. Quite a few mages have started to create whole skeletal armies, finding potential soldiers in underground catacombs and ancient battlefields. A skeleton is a fragile unit, but it is not that easy to destroy. Weak blows deal no lasting damage to their bones, and their lack of flesh gives them great protection against arrows. Like other animated undead creatures, skeletons know no pain or fatigue and have no morale. They are but a tool created by the mage who created them. The most successful creations may well be uniquely marked and may be equipped with special bonus powers. Let's now look at a creature. We're going to cover all this for a bit, everyone. I apologize if it takes a while. So we see the hit points of 9, 10 stamina, and 10 morale. So this creature does have stamina and morale. However, I see a bunch of skills and properties down here, which we'll cover in a bit. When a unit attacks in melee, it uses the first 2 points here. It has an 8 attack strength and a 4 counterattack. When a unit attacks another unit, it has to do so from a certain spot. See how this my cursor looks like a little sword? If I want this unit to attack here, it can totally do so. It will attack from this spot into this enemy. I could move him and attack him as well if I wanted to. The skeleton has 2 movement. We can move him over here and attack this way if you so wished. When a unit attacks another, it will do damage. In this case, our skeleton will do 8 points of damage to this goblin. The goblin has only let's look at this first. It has no defense against melee whatsoever, so it will take the full 8 hit points of damage and die. The end. That will be the end of the skeleton's turn. Because I casted a spell, I have no turns left. It will now be this goblin's turn next. This goblin has a 6 attack strength. When this goblin attacks my skeleton will reduce the damage it does by 2, so it will take 4 damage. My skeleton then will automatically counterattack the goblin, dealing 4 points of damage to it. Attacking an enemy from 1 space away requires 1 stamina, but our skeleton is an undead. So let's cover undead really quick. All undead have feels no pain, or most of them to my knowledge. All the ones I can think of have feel no pain. So if its hit points is reduced below half, doesn't matter. Skeleton still does 8 points of, my skeleton still does 8 points of damage and 4 counterattack. Skeletons have tireless. Don't require stamina. Skeletons can attack as often as they want. They won't lose a single point, and it doesn't matter if they do. They're immune to, they don't require stamina to make any attacks. Requires no morale. I don't know if you can fear or affect morale in skeletons, but if you could, from what I can tell, nothing happens. Skeleton still fights to the best of its ability. This skeleton has intimidation. When attacking an enemy in melee, the unit reduces the target's morale by 1. Morale is affected if you take a big hit as well. If our skeleton, let's say, hits a unit that has 10 hit points for 8 damage, that unit will also lose a point of morale just for taking that big hit. This is probably in addition to it using 1 for intimidation. Our skeleton also has ice immunity. It's immune to Word of Ice, Geyser, Freeze, Ice Storm, and Ice Snake. It also is immune to poison. You can't poison it whatsoever. Skeletons, in particular, have a huge amount of range defense, making them very good for dealing with certain creatures, giant slugs in particular. We'll cover such monsters later on. Alright, let's go ahead and attack a goblin. Dead. End our turn. Here you go. Goblin attacked us, did 4 points of damage. Our skeleton blocked 2 points. It has 4 points left. We don't even have to do anything on our turn now. We can just let our skeleton kill this goblin and save ourselves some crystals. When combat is over, you get to see the creatures that you killed. All of our goblins were level 0. That's what that little 0 right there stands for. We were also level 0, and see this purple bar? That's how much experience we earned for that fight. The battle itself gives you spoils as well. We've earned 3 gold for killing these 3 goblins. However, we often, if not almost always, will receive some special treasure for doing a location as well. We have earned 35 gold and 4 crystals for that fight. So, the goblins are done with. Good news! Time to take care of your troops now. Magic is good and all, but you need some backup to tackle a serious enemy. Here, take these 200 gold pieces. You can hire some men to go with you. To hire units, okay, so if we're in a location in which we have a unit available to us, we will get this hire troops button. Or rather, I'm sorry, in a unit where we can conscript troops of some sort. Okay, so we have militiamen and slingers available to us. We have 3 slots. Just like spells, if we like, oops, I didn't want this guy, we can delete him. Unlike spells, however, if you put a guy down here, you will pay for that guy. If you then want to delete him, you can do that, but you're not going to get that gold cost back. I think we'll take at least 1 militiaman. And let's take a second. And we'll take a slinger. Next, let's read about him. Militiaman, neutral. Its low price is the main and, in fact, the only advantage of this unit type. Former peasants, militiamen are neither well-equipped nor combat-trained. However, they are a perfect human shield to protect more valuable units with. Necromancers and demologists eagerly accept militiamen to their ranks. Why? Ask them yourself, I'll tell you why. They're cheap. They leave corpses. Corpses let me bring undead or demons into the field. Or protect my more powerful undead or demons from battle. Another advantage of the militia is their versatility. Just like a piece of clay, you can mold a container of any shape and fill it with any content, and a volunteer can be molded into almost any kind of warrior. The main thing is to keep him alive long enough. Militiamen are also used in dealing with poorly made tools and tend to become skillful repairers, whose main task it is to repair and maintain military equipment. So we can see, let's cover this really quick. So normally, they're 10 gold to hire, and they're 2 gold maintenance. This means every turn we want to keep this guy present in our army. It's going to cost us $2 for him. We can see that his stats are pretty low. He is indeed very weak, but we're taking him anyway. We're taking 2 of them, so that's going to be 4 gold just there, and we're taking a slinger. Slingers are by far the cheapest ranged units. Outfitting and feeding them doesn't cost much. Often, slingers are recruited from among young peasants and hastily taught how to handle the sling. All they need is some natural agility and a steady eye. The rest comes with experience. Although slingers can't claim outstanding shooting strength and range, they are especially valuable in a protracted battle, as they never run out of ammunition. A slinger can use any stone picked up from the ground as a missile, if it comes down to that. If a slinger uses special armor-piercing ammo, however, that ammo cannot be replenished. The best warriors have a chance to be transferred to an elite squad. Okay, let's cover ranged units really quick. This is the damage a ranged unit does over here by the bow. This is the range that the unit has to fire. This is the amount of ammunition the unit has. The only thing we haven't covered is resistance. That's this one right here. Resistance is used to resist magic spells or effects. A slinger has collect ammo. It will you can use this ability on the battlefield, and he will refill 0 to 4 pieces of ammunition. Finally, New Horizons has added this little button to it. Once it's level 13, you can click on that button to make a slinger a veteran slinger instead. I have a new task for you, my apprentice. Some orcs have occupied the ruined tower near the main road. They've already killed several merchants on their way to town. We need to raise the brute's lair before they cause more trouble. Isn't it the guard's job? Oh, you see, most of the guards are watching the northern border. The gangs of brigands from Free Country province pester them all the time. The heartlands are left unattended. No wonder the orcs and goblins are getting cocky. Fine. I'll kill me some orcs then. Okay, everyone, just as before, we're going to location. Now your hero is heading to the orcs tower to perform his mentor's Durner's task. Okay, so before we do that, though, I think we will take off a triple blade and grab a cure wounds to show you how that works. All right, in we go to the orcs. Okay, so we'll skip reading the description on these locations all that often. The description is basically the same. We're fighting 3 enemies and we see orc. Sometimes there'll be other things listed. For example, we could see orc bugbear, in which case we know that there are 3 enemies and their types will be orcs or bugbears. But we don't know if there's 2 orcs, 1 bugbear, or 1 orc and 2 bugbears. We'll get to that later on in the game as well. We can see Lotaeri's pretty confident about this fight as well. That gives me a good feeling. Let's do it. So, our initiative is higher than the enemy. We will place our units first. All of them get placed. We'll place our hero as far away, hopefully, as possible from the fight. We'll place you here. I want to use this terrain to help block for me. We'll put both my militiamen here and here, and we'll put a slinger. That will be good. All right. Actually, no, that's not going to be good. Let's use the water to help block. We have some natural choke points here that should help us. All right, let's start. Here's our orcs. Look at them in their mighty glory. Warrior is the most honored profession amongst orcs. They use weapons and armor crafted by the best orc weaponsmiths. However, what the best orc weaponsmith can craft is significantly worse than human production, never mind dwarves. To make an acceptable armor, the great orc blacksmith simply increases the armor's thickness, making it much heavier than the standard armor. However, this inconvenience is fully compensated by the innate strength and endurance of this aggressive race. Despite their bulky armor, orcs are able to land blows so powerful that their enemy's armor bends and shatters. Moreover, unlike many barbarian races, orcs can hold their own. They can also follow a battle plan, which makes an orcish horde a very dangerous enemy. Orcs have a lot more hit points, 15, than those goblins did. They have more stamina as well. Their morale's 10, and we can see they have current speed is 1. They also hit hard, doing 8 damage. These will not be easy for us to defeat. Orcs have damage armor. When attacking an enemy in melee, the unit reduces the target's defense by 1. The effect lasts for 3 turns. They have shield bash, or at least this one does. A special ability allowing the unit, at the cost of some stamina, to strike with his shield instead of his weapon. It doesn't do any damage, but it does reduce the stamina of the enemy by 2, and the enemy does not get a chance to counterattack. It has Vitality. Outside of battle, it heals 20% faster. That's not going to matter for the vast majority of the game, because we might not be taking orcs as allies very often. Okay, so we have 3 of them. They're all level 0, and they all have the same exact skills. Let's start. So we're going to go ahead and move our militiamen up. This guy can strike from a distance. We could move him up 1. Oh, we could move him up 1 and shoot, but none of them are in range. So we'll move him just there, and that will be good enough. He'll hold on to his last movement point. Finally, I think we will use a triple blade and try to damage one of them. Here we go. Notice that was a big hit. His morale dropped by 1, but it did not affect his stat line at all. Let's end our turn. Okay, our turn again. 7 hit points left on that guy. Let's try to weaken him a little bit. Hit him for 2. Let's back you up. Let's back you up. And we'll go ahead and use another triple blade on the other orc. Only 6 damage to him. Oh, his defense is higher. I should have waited till he's off the hill. He's on a hill. We're on a lower ground. And because triple blade does physical damage, his 3 damage blocked a good amount of what we would have done to him. Notice that our militiamen also lost a point of stamina. Firing reduces the stamina point by 1. Only 1 point. I think we'll let him get 1 round closer to us. We need to do 6 points of damage to him to kill him. We only do 5 with this guy. I do not want him countering attack. I do not want him to counter attack. Let's hit this guy with another bullet. Move up and kill him. Down he goes. You're about to get hit in the face, militiamen. Let's, well, it doesn't matter. We'll charge you up here, and you'll hit him once. Taking 7 damage back. Next, let's summon ourselves that skeleton. Oh, one more thing, everyone. I need to point this out. If you move and attack with a unit on the same turn, it takes 2 stamina rather than 1. Normally attacking a unit directly across from you is 1 stamina. It's 1 stamina to counterattack. Your unit will counterattack if it can, even if you don't want it to. For example, if an orc was right next to our slinger and attacked him, our slinger would take the hit and then have to counterattack as well. So keep that in mind. We'll move our skeleton over here and bash the orc. This is looking pretty good. All right, let's move you back a spot, sir. And we will heal you. 7 hit points. We'll move you up here, skeleton. I don't want you taking a needless hit. Skeletons are good at getting the first hit on an enemy. You do not want them taking the first hit if possible. Our units, he probably could use a little bit of rest to recover some stamina since he's down to 7. We'll hit the rest key. When you rest, a unit will not defend itself and will not counterattack, but will recover more stamina. Let's have this guy rest as well. Because we moved our militiaman here, he cannot rest. So he just passes his turn. Okay, we can totally kill this guy. Let's surround him. And kill him. 2 damage. Skeleton. 7. Militiamen. 4. Militiamen. Dead. We've earned 23 points. Notice that everyone has a purple bar on their left-hand side. Our bar is full. We're about to level up. These 2 peasants also leveled up. Their bars are full, so we'll be able to level up them as well. Our hero levels quite differently than these units do. Let's go ahead and see what happens. The hero Lotaeri gained enough experience to achieve a new level. He is now a wizard of level 1. We get a choice of spells that we can take. We can take, not spells, really wrong thing, skills. We can take magic power 2. This would level us from 1 to 2, and we would gain +1 more spell power, making our triple blades and possibly other magic spells like our cure spell more powerful. We could take thaumaturgy 1. This gives our hero 1 resistance, allowing him a better ability to resist spells cast at him or spells or effects. It also allows him to ignore 1 point of resistance from the enemy. We also could take necromancy 1 as well. This would allow us to keep a skeleton that we summon in our army rather than it going away. We would also, our undead that we keep with us would heal, and undead that we create on the battlefield would become slightly stronger. It's tempting to take necromancy, but I don't think we can be guaranteed that we would be able to find more necromantic spells. I'm thinking we'll just take spell power 2. our militia... Oh, and we gained something else, which I can't remember. It either said health +1, command +1, or magic +1. We'll take a look at that when we finish this screen. Our militiaman has gained a level. He doesn't get anything quite the same. He can either gain +1 hit point or +1 stamina. Let's make him more resilient. This militiaman gets +1 hit point or can take +2 more morale. When a unit's morale goes above 15, it's at its max, and it has above 15, I think, or 15 or higher, it does more damage. It has better stats. That said, I think I just want the hit point. We've earned 50 bucks and 4 crystals from that. A glorious battle, Lotaeri. Congratulations on your victory. Time to take care of your equipment now. Spells are good and all, but they tend to run out all too quickly. A magical wand or a staff is a good backup for any wizard. A toga could come in handy too. Poor protection is better than none at all. Here, take these 200 gold pieces, so you can buy everything you need. Okay, let's go ahead and now visit the shop. We'll click on this button, which is always available, assuming we can visit a location instantly to repair our equipment. We'll just go ahead and click on all this to ignore all of it. So, we would click on a piece of gear, and then if we want to keep it, we drag it over our character. So let's look at this stuff really quick. So we have a knife. We can totally allow to equip a knife. Equip a knife. A knife is put into your left hand, however, not your right hand. This means that we would not necessarily use it in combat. It gives us parry, counter attack +1, and precise strike +1. We have a short staff, and we have other weapons. Notice that this melee weapon, is in red. We cannot equip it. If I bring it over my character, not allowed. So we just click over here to get rid of it instead. Can't use short spears, can't use bows. Here's a wand. We could totally use a wand if we wanted to. We have bucklers, wooden shields. We can't use most of this stuff. We can, however, at least use a toga. Let's equip it. And that gives us +3 hit points, bringing us to 31. I think we probably gained a point of health. I don't remember what we gained at the end of that one combat. I'm thinking the wand could be really useful, as could the short staff. Actually, they both could be useful. Let's buy the short staff to start. Equip it on our character, and why not? We'll buy a simple wand. We have the money. You can right-click on an item to see everything that it does. In this case, it's increased our attack strength by 1, so we go from 2 to 3. We gain +2 points of counter attack, so we go from 3 to 5. We also gained +2 stamina for having this, and we have skillful spellcaster. It costs 1 less stamina point to cast a spell. Awesome. Well, the time has come for a real test of your skills. There's an ancient forsaken crypt nearby with some dead blokes that refuse to stay put in their graves. Your task is to lay them to rest, despite their objections. Zombies and skeletons are dangerous opponents, so take your time to prepare well for the battle. Alright, teacher. Okay, so, first, let's take a look at our troops. One's a little bit wounded. We could hire a new guy instead. I think we will do that. Do I want a militiaman or do I want a slinger though? Let's take a militiaman. Sorry, a slinger. Oh, we actually gave +1 magic. Okay, that's what that was. So first, let's cover this really quick. As your command goes up, you will be able to have more troops. Troops come in several different ranks, the weakest being Tier 1. Then you have Tier 2, Tier 3, and Tier 4. As you can see, your army is composed of 6 Tier 1 units, 4 Tier 2, 3 Tier 3, and 2 Tier 4. Lower rank units can be placed in higher tier slots. The same it does not work the opposite though. You cannot put a Tier 2 unit into a Tier 1 slot. Spells work the same way. We unlocked a Tier 2 slot now. If we had a Tier 2 spell, we could totally use it. But we don't have any. We only have Tier 1 slots. Let's go ahead and take a triple blade. Alright, that'll have to do. Let's go ahead and enter the ancient crypt. And let's go. The hero Lotaeri approaches an ancient crypt. It looks like a burial vault of some ancient ruler or great warrior, and one is sure to find something valuable among the belongings of the deceased. And to encounter those guarding the peace of the dead as well. There are 4 enemies, skeleton and zombie. We don't know if there's 3 skeletons or 3 zombies. We don't know the layout. It's probably 2 of each. Let's go ahead and start. Okay, so we want to keep ourselves from being attacked. We want ourselves as far away from the battle as possible. We definitely want one of our slingers on the hill, and we'll put you here. When a ranged unit is on a hill, its range is increased by +1. So you always want to keep ranged units on hills if possible. Okay, so this is a bunch of stuff I already covered previously. But we're going to read about zombies. We haven't seen them yet. Raising the dead using magic is the first trick learned by apprentice necromancers. Bodies raised from their graves have neither a mind nor a will of their own. All they can do is carry out their master's simple orders. The absence of a mind and fighting skills is well compensated by the dead man's insensibility to pain and their enormous strength. Another shortcoming is their low speed. As a rule, necromancers either use zombies as a living shield or try to raise them from the dead behind enemy lines. Laying zombies to rest, especially those raised by a strong necromancer, is no easy task. You'd have to chop the zombie to pieces for that. Particularly successful creation may well be specially marked. As you can see, zombies have all the same stats, special skills and properties as the skeletons we saw earlier. But this one doesn't have the special ability our skeleton had of reducing the enemy's morale. Zombies do the same amount of damage as counterattack and attack generally. They have no physical protection though. You can beat them up in combat rather easily. And they are also much weaker to ranged damage as well. Oh, I love this song. This is The Last Stand, if I recall correctly. I have listened to the soundtrack of this game endless times at work. It's a phenomenal. Alright, I'm babbling. Okay, so let's go ahead and make this a little easier for us. We can kill skeletons very easily. They've only got 2 points of physical damage, and our triple blade should be powerful enough to destroy them outright. Let's get you blocking this entrance here. That will have to do. And you two can stay here. Actually, let's move you in this location, and we're good. Okay, let's begin. Can we hammer this guy? Let's begin working on one of these zombies. I don't like that skeleton. We don't have to let it even hit us. Let's go ahead and triple blade it to death. Actually, can we? Yeah. Our militiaman will not kill it with a single hit. It will have 1 hit point left. Dead. Oh, I should point this out. When you kill a unit, the unit that does the killing blow gets extra experience at the end of the combat for killing that creature. Killing units with magic spells, as I have been doing with my mage, does not award any extra experience for our mage. He doesn't get anything special for doing that. However, if we were to kill the zombie, let's say with our staff or with, let's say, a wand, we would gain extra experience for killing it. We have 6 hit points left. 1 hit point left on it, but it fights just as strongly as it always would have. Let's put you up here. I think we will cast another triple blade on the back one. Okay, peasant, up you go and kill it. And which one of these guys do I like better? Let's have this one guy kill this one. If your hero gained a full level of experience points, any leftover experience points they would have earned is carried over to their next level. You don't have to worry about wasting experience points from what I remember. All right, we earned $6 and 4 crystals for the fight. Let's see what we learned afterwards. All right, we get magic 1. All right, let's cover this really quick too. We can take spell power up another point. Heroes, up until they're level 10, can only take rank 3 of any type of skill that they have an option to learn. When your hero levels up, they will earn a choice between, I think there's 6 or 5 total different skills available. A mage can learn magic power, thaumaturgy, wand firing, wisdom, necromancy, or conjuring. Is that 7? Might be 7. What you get presented with is completely random. We're going to go ahead and take spell power to rank 3. Once we've done this, we will not get offered spell power again until, well, you'll see later on. When we hit level 10, our hero gets a chance to multi-class or specialize into a different type of mage. We'll get to that later. Right now, we're just going to spell magic power 3. Our slinger leveled up. Let's give him a point of stamina. Let's give this one +1 ammo. And we'll give our guy 1 hit point. We have earned a sorcerer's toga. This is better than our normal toga. It's green, so it's a magic item as opposed to something just normal. Gives us 2 more hit points and 2 more stamina. We also earned $100 and 10 crystals. Have you laid the dead to rest? Great. Now you're ready for a real trial. Your time to head to my castle. Your castle, I mean. The castle is across the sea. We'll need a ship to get there. To the north, in the province of Free Country, there's a good shipyard. Alas, the northern forests are plagued by brigands. I don't think they'll pose a serious problem for you, however. Get ready, and let's go, apprentice. Alright, teacher. Okay, so... well, let's get going. So... First of all, we picked up a toga, but notice its durability is 4 of 20. It's damaged. Let's repair it. It'll cost us $24 and 1 gem. Repair the toga. We could hit this button instead and it will repair anything and everything that's damaged. Your hero can carry 10 items on them at any point in the game that they wish. During combat, you can change weapons for other weapons, but you cannot equip anything else in combat itself. Anything you don't want to carry can be stored down here, and you're allowed this many slots in your vault or storage. We no longer need this toga. We will vendor it for $2. I also forgot if we picked up 1 health. Oh, we picked up another magic. Okay. Oh, nice. And this magic gave us +1 tier 1 and +1 tier 2. Let's go ahead and grab another triple blade. Maybe we should take a necromancer. Let's take a skeleton. Oh. Let's take a skeleton. Okay, this is good. Let's go ahead and go up north to Free Country. The hero Lotaeri has entered the province of Free Country. Suddenly, your party's way is blocked by a gang of brigands operating in this area. There are 5 of them. We have brigands, a thief. We have a brigand, a thief, and a renegade here. We will easily defeat this enemy. Let's go ahead and attack. Oh, and notice that they are set up first, so they are going first. We don't want to be hit. We especially don't want our little militia, our slingers to be hit by this guy. He hurts. I don't really care about our peasant, though. We'll put him there. Let's try this. Okay, let's do it. Okay, so the game's covering terrain. Let's cover terrain as well. Swamps. Swamps are always bad. You almost never want to be in a swamp. Your counterattack and defense is lower. Oh, I didn't realize counterattack is lowered. It is lowered by 1 if you are in a swamp. So you almost never want to stand in it. Goblins, however, they probably don't care if they're in a swamp. Swamps also consume almost all your movement to enter it. 4 movement points to enter a swamp. You can't enter it if you've... So, for example, if we move our peasant 1 spot, he wouldn't have the movement to enter the spot and could not do so. Our slinger, though, could enter it. If you start adjacent to a type of terrain, even if you don't have the maximum number of movements to enter it, you can still enter it, but it consumes all your movement and you end your turn. Okay, let's look at these enemies. We have 2 thieves, 2 brigands, and a renegade. The brigand. He's evil. We'll cover alignment a little, probably in the next video. When the choice is between the gallows and the military, many brigands eagerly join the army. Teaching these former cutthroats discipline is a virtually impossible task. On the other hand, these former gallows birds don't ask for high wages. Army service fails to alter the brigands' old habits. During their free time, they resort to their former trade to make a living. Oh, to make a living. Sorry about that. When sharing trophies, the brigands try to snatch and stash away as much as possible. Officers tend to overlook these crimes, wisely thinking that a content brigand is better than constant squabbles among the troops. Sometimes, however, the greedy brigands that grab too much are made an example of and executed, and the others become somewhat reluctant to continue their thievery. Brigands' fighting abilities are rather good, especially keeping in mind the fact that recruiting and feeding these units costs virtually nothing. Unfortunately, their morale leaves much to be desired. Having saved their necks from the gallows by joining the army, they aren't all that eager to be killed by enemy swords. Brigands have good attack and decent counterattack. They don't have much armor or defense, though. Brigands have Marauder. The unit claims a portion of the trophies after battle, reducing the looting income by 10%. That's not going to affect us, necessarily, in this fight. They also have Plunderer. The unit resorts to robbery in his spare time, decreasing the income of the province he is located in by 10%. Plundering troops is slightly increases the hero's province plundering. These will affect us if we ever decide to hire brigands in our army. We will gain less money from the battle itself, and we lose money for having brigands stationed in a province as well. Thieves. They are often called the scum of the criminal world, for no normal thief would ever join the army. For the most part, the thieves joining military units have violated the codes of the Thieves Guild and are trying to avoid being killed by their former colleagues. The unlucky ones who never learned their trade but mastered the skill of the knife, knife fighting often conscript as well. Their low cost is one of the thieves' main advantages. No one would ever pay big wages to an unfortunate thief. However, the greedy looters aren't too upset about this. The rascals hope to snatch their share by stashing away a good part of the war trophies. They are not always eager to put their hands on the spoils when it's very conspicuous, because they might lose them along with their head. When he's afraid of his commander, for example, he'll be very cautious and will restrain his greed. A thief's morale is usually very low. They tend to flee at any sign of danger. Their agility is commendable, though. These try to sneak up on their enemies to avoid being attacked in return. These don't particularly enjoy melee combat. Give them a set of throwing knives, and they will happily attack the enemy from a relatively safe distance. The best warriors have a chance to be transferred to an elite squad. Thieves have a ton of special abilities. First off, they have a range attack. This guy's strength is actually 5 at range 2. He's got 4 points of armor on him as well. They have agility, so when they attack an enemy, the enemy does not get to counterattack them. They have steel ammo, so when they attack an enemy, as you can see, they lowered their ammo and morale by 2. Wow. The stolen ammo of the appropriate type restores that unit's ammo. So if they steal, let's say, arrows or sling stones, their ammo will increase. If they steal a unit's spit ammo, I don't think it will. It has parry. The first time in combat that unit's attacked, its defense is increased by 1 for every point in parry. So in other words, this guy has actually 2 melee defense the first time he's attacked in melee. He has Marauder as well. He has 15 in it, so he's going to lower the spoils by 15%. He has Dodge. Every shot at the unit increases its range defense by 1 until the end of the next turn. And finally, he has Backstab. The unit deals 3 additional damage if it backstabs a unit. An attack is considered a backstab when an ally stands in the opposite tile. So in other words, well, it's probably almost never going to happen. But if there was a unit on this tile, and this thief attacked our unit here, it would backstab it. Yes, we're going to go with that. Finally, we have the Renegade. Certain gentlemen outlaws prefer shooting over melee combat, deftly hiding in trees, under bushes, and behind thick trunks. They wait until their quarry has come within reach of their long-distance shot, and then suddenly they will let loose. A melee attack by their comrades is typically preceded by a volley that can do a lot of damage. The primary objective of shooters is killing enemy spellcasters. Their secondary is eliminating other shooters, from whom they are completely safe, hiding as they are among the trees. To take out a Deadeye, as they call themselves, is extremely difficult. As with other characters of dubious persuasion, a renegade will never deny himself the pleasure of pocketing some of the trophies, but only if they are absolutely sure they can get away with it. They have Marauder as well, which you've seen by now. They have Forest Knowledge, so they're harder to hit with range attacks if they're in the woods. They also can move into woods tiles without any penalty. We haven't covered woods tiles yet. And they have Forager, so this guy has Forager, so he makes it cheaper for his army to have him. Not that it matters for him at all. Forests. We covered this, we didn't cover forests. I think we covered hills already. If you're in a forest, your range defense increases by 2. It also, as you can see, costs 2 movement points to enter into a forest. Okay, so we've covered all these enemies. Let's begin killing them. The Renegade only has 6 hit points and no melee defense. He's now dead. Never have to worry about him again. I do not want to move my little guy up, because I want to get the drop on the Brigand. If I move him up 1 space, the Brigand will be able to move 2 and hit us. 1, 2. Since he has 2 movement points. So we'll just pummel him with a single sling. That did 2 damage, and it lowered his morale as well. How about that? Let's end our turn. Okay, this guy's getting really close. Let's go ahead and try to kill this Brigand with everything we've got for our troops. Next, let us summon a skeleton to deal with this thief. Notice he did 0 damage to my skeleton. We hit the thief. After we hit the thief, his, I guess we should cover this really quick as well. After a unit takes damage is when it's, because its hit points was reduced by half, probably its combat stats were also lowered somewhat, and on its counterattack, it only has 3, so it wasn't able to do any extra damage. Yeah, normally he'd be doing 4. It wouldn't matter though. The skeletons, oh, actually no, it would have mattered. His defense was only 2. Oh, I wonder why he took no damage. I'm not sure, but I'm glad he didn't. Let's end our turn. Okay, we had something special happen. Oh, he lost some ammo because he got struck. Okay, let's move our slinger down 1. We'll have this skeleton kill this thief. We'll go ahead and heal our poor slinger. We'll hit him. I think we won't move you up yet, sir. And we'll use you to hit this guy as well. I should have had the skeleton hit the brigand, now that I think about it, and had a slinger attack the thief. The slingers would have killed the thief, and he would have done significant damage to the brigand. That's my bad. Okay, I think you 3 can probably kill the thief. I want this slinger to get the kill. When a unit kills another unit, it gets a morale boost. Oh, but its range defense is going to be 3. I don't know if we can kill it. We'll try anyway. Nice. So he's restored a little bit of morale for the kill. I think you get 2 points of morale for killing a unit, and 1 if a unit was around you and died. If a unit near you dies, you lose 1 morale. I also think if a summoned unit dies, the summoner loses a point of morale as well. Our slinger is now level 2. I think we'll take 2 morale. Hey, we get a trophy. Whenever a unit suffers damage or does extra damage to an enemy or counterattacks a lot or runs around the battlefield, uses all their stamina, they have a chance to earn a medal. That medal will increase the upkeep cost of that unit, but has some sort of special benefit to it. You have the option we can give our slinger this medal, which will increase his defense by 2. It also costs us 3 more gold to keep this unit in our army. We have the option to not do so, though, if we don't want to. I don't think I care about a slinger having a defensive medal like this. If it was range defense, possibly. But I don't care about 2 melee defense. He doesn't need this. We'll give our militiamen +1 counterattack. Holy crap! And he gained a special level. He can actually become a spearman. Let's take it. So you've become a landowner, Lotaeri. Congratulations. Now that this land is your property, it will yield you a steady income. But even greater conquests and glorious victories are waiting for you overseas. Get on the ship and let's go. Okay, so this province has a shipyard in it. It's giving us 3 income, that matters. We're about to enter our castle. And more importantly, it lets us jump a single sea hex to any place on the other side. You can't go back, though, if there's no way to get back, and there won't be any. Once we leave this spot, we're never coming back to this. Let's go ahead and head on over. Home at last. Get comfortable, Lotaeri. From now on, this castle is your stronghold, the base of all your endeavors. From here, you'll be able to train units, forge weapons, and study magic. But first, you have to construct the necessary buildings in here, and construction costs money. Here are 500 gold and 100 gems, your housewarming allowance. From now on, I won't give you any more gold. Conquer new lands, explore the nooks and crannies of your lands, and you'll earn a fortune by yourself. My first quest for you is building up this castle. While I was away, everything sunk into decay. We need to work hard to restore the former strength of these walls. A construction team is at your service. It's up to you to what you want to build, but make sure you construct a recruiting station, a forge, and a pottery. We'll discuss our further plans then. What would you advise me to start with? Start with whatever you need most. If you need an army, construct military buildings. If you need magic, build a library. If you need to repair your armor, set up a forge. All in all, just use your brain. It'll prove useful. Okay, everyone, I think we're going to cut the first video here. And when we come back, we'll cover provinces, we'll go over what building is going to be like, and we'll begin playing the actual game, kind of. It's still the tutorial for another at least 2 hours. Okay, everyone, in any case, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, everyone.